Russell Westbrook. Brody, Mr. Trip Dub, Beastbrook, Westbrook, or just simply Russ. Over the past decade, no other player has been more polarizing, with some viewing him as a stubborn, unintelligent player who chased away talented teammates, unable to change his ways and lead a team to a championship, and others viewing him as an undersized overachiever who remained loyal to a small market franchise, an unquestioned first ballot Hall of Famer, and worthy of top 75 all time. Russell Westbrook has been criticized like no other player in NBA history. All of last season, and even all this offseason, we couldn't get a sports show that didn't include a segment about Russell Westbrook. From constant Russ blooper reels, to becoming a scapegoat for LA's terrible season, to his shooting percentage, to his end-of-season exit interview, to his Instagram follow and unfollows. It had to be something about Russ. But how much of it is true, and how much of it is media-driven, nonsense narrative, new age bullshit crap? In this video, we'll see if perhaps you have been miseducated when it comes to Russell Westbrook III.
I was very disappointed in Russell Westbrook. That was the worst point guard in a championship finals I've ever seen. He was too wild. He was taking off-balance shots.
I never bought into him. It's almost how I felt about Iverson. I was watching a unique transformational talent. I didn't think it was winning basketball.
This is your reigning MVP or your previous MVP doing dumb things in the playoffs.
Yes.
Dance on his grave.
Without Serge Ibaka, here's Westbrook with a vicious slam in the face of Kawhi Leonard.
Averaging a triple-double, averaging a double-double, going 20 and 10 night in and night out is an accomplishment. So how are we going to hate on him for averaging a triple-double?
He has taken a dump on his MVP trophy. He's taken a dump on the triple-double and his whole legacy.
I think it's not real clear sports, it's real confused. Okay. If the triple-double's so easy to get, why isn't anybody getting it?
Russ had another bad fourth quarter.
He sure did.
We don't give Russell Westbrook enough respect.
Damian Lillard is saying, I'm coming. I'm trying to, and I'm coming for your spot,
Westbrook,
Russ, among the
we all want to see him in that championship room.
Nobody wants to play with Russell Westbrook.
Westbrook wearing zero because he has zero.
We're not talking about James Harden. We're talking about Westbrook.
Let me apologize to Russell Westbrook because in Game 4, he was off the charts. 43 points. He put on a show. I see now that he has to play this way, Michael, for the Thunder to have a chance to win. So stay with playing that aggressive offensive game. He's not a traditional point guard. Just do your thing, Russell. Don't listen to Magic Johnson.
Now, we all know the early story on Russ. Starring beside Kevin Durant and James Harden, the three would put the Oklahoma City Thunder on the NBA map immediately, eventually advancing to the 2012 NBA Finals and becoming everybody's team of the future. But then, Harden leaves. And here is where the miseducation begins. KD and Russ, even without Harden, would still prove to be a top team in the Western Conference, winning 55-plus games in 3 of their 4 seasons together as a duo, and making 2 appearances in the Western Conference Finals. Despite their mostly successful run, Russ, along with KD, just couldn't get over the hump and raise a trophy. Even with the fact that for only 2 years of their 4 as a duo, they didn't reach the Western Conference Finals, either Russ or KD were injured, the rumblings of why OKC couldn't win a championship would grow, with Westbrook becoming a popular answer to that question. And after losing the 3-1 lead in 2016 against Golden State, the rumblings will become roars. KD votes for the Warriors, wins a chip, And Russ was instantly portrayed as what held him back in OKC from winning a championship. Westbrook responded with his historic first triple-double season to somewhat silence the haters. But not for long. Losing in the first round versus Utah with new running mate Paul George the next year will bring the Russ slander to the immediate forefront. And the season after that, the second round loss to Portland will bring it to an all-time high. Bad teammate, selfish, stat pattern, all will become ways to describe Russ as a player. But how much meat is on them bones? Is Russ really a bad teammate? Let's take a look at it, shall we? We'll set aside Westbrook's individual numbers. Although being called a selfish player while averaging a triple-double is crazy all by itself, let's not focus on Russ stats, but instead those of his teammates, which should be a good indicator as to how bad of a teammate Russ is or is not, correct? Agreed? All right, let's proceed. During Russ's career, 2 players have averaged career second best in points per game. Those 2 being Serge Ibaka and James Harden. Small potatoes to you though, right? I mean, Serge Ibaka is mid at best. And James Harden, well, he gets buckets regardless, you say. Okay, cool. Well, 5 different players have career best in points per game playing alongside Brody. Yeah, you heard right. 5 different players have career highs in points per game with Russell Westbrook as their point guard. Those 5 being Steven Adams, Bradley Beal, Paul George, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James. PG's only year finishing top 3 in MVP voting came playing beside Russ. And Kevin Durant's only season to win the MVP also came playing beside Russ. Now think about this for just a second now. In an 8-year span, 7 different teammates have had either their career second best or their career best in point per game, with one of those guys finishing 3rd in the MVP race for the only time in his career, and another one of those guys winning the MVP for the only time in his career. Now, if you can name another teammate in NBA history that applies to, please let me know. And just to add some cheese to that chili, Russ averaged 21 shots or less per game in those 8 seasons. Still sound like a bad teammate to you? Now, from my observation, aside from bad teammate, the 2 biggest criticisms levied against Westbrook's game will be his erratic shooting and his number of turnovers. The shooting is valid. No cap, at this stage of his career, Westbrook should be better from the outside. But the turnovers, when viewed from a wider spectrum, isn't as big of a deal as made to be. What the fuck do I mean? I'll show you what the fuck I mean. Here is a list of the all-time assist leaders amongst point guards in NBA history. And here is a list of all-time turnover leaders amongst point guards in NBA history. Again, all-time assists amongst point guards, and again, all-time turnovers amongst point guards. Notice, it's basically the exact same names, just in different order. So, if every point guard that had high assist numbers also had high turnover numbers, then why would Russ be different? The sensible conclusion is that they have high assists and high turnovers simply due to how much they handle the ball, and not unintelligent point guard play. I mean, even the point guards who are most renowned for their high basketball IQ, like John Stockton, Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, and Mark Jackson, are also right there, listed with Brody in top 10 when it comes to turnovers. Matter of fact, Jack, 8 of the 10 point guards who appear in the top 10 all-time assist leaders also appear top 10 all-time turnover leaders. So, would you apply unintelligent to these other guys too? Or just Westbrook? Last season, a list of the top 10 point guards in the league made its way around the internet, with Russ being ranked 10th. The level of disrespect to Westbrook by this list is completely unfathomable. The 2021-22 season was considered a bad one for Westbrook. It's also a season in which Westbrook averaged more assists than 7 of the 9 players ranked above him, and a season Westbrook averaged more rebounds than all 9 players ranked above him. And if we're looking at individual stats, he's number 1 on this list in career points, rebounds, assists, triple-doubles, playoff games, and playoff wins. How he was ranked 10th still doesn't add up. Kind of like spending pesos and dollars simultaneously. Es muy estúpido, güey. Es muy estúpido. Now I know what you're saying. I can hear you from here.
But he doesn't have a ring. Westbrook doesn't have a ring. He never won a championship.
Okay. Neither has CP3, Dame, Harden, Ben Simmons, Trae Young, Ja Morant, or De'Aaron Fox. So by no metric should Russ ever have been ranked 10th amongst point guards today. At the time of this recording, Westbrook had agreed to come off the bench for LA. His numbers have been effective and mostly efficient. But more importantly, the Lakers have started to get some wins. Russ committing to a 6-man role undeniably sparked a new attitude for LA. And although Anthony Davis has been on an absolute tear recently, an argument could be made that Westbrook has indeed been LA's best player from start to finish this year. Not surprisingly, no media sports show, whether TV or radio, puts much effort into covering Russ these days. The usual naysayers have gone quiet, and only Kendrick Perkins being the lone media personality to come out and give Russell Westbrook his props.
I am going with the Brody. You know, Richard just said the spirit, right? It's something about this team that has them playing inspiring basketball, and it's Russell Westbrook. Look, an old man used to tell me, right, my wise man told me, you never know who watching. Well, with Russell Westbrook, we were watching as the media. The front office of the Lakers was watching. The rest of the league was watching to see if he was going to be able to embrace this role of coming in off the bench. But guess who else was watching? The rest of his teammates, right? So all of a sudden, you see Russell Westbrook embrace this role of coming in off the bench. You see the fans gravitate towards him. You start to hear the MVP chants. You start to see him have that smile and that passion again. And then what else happened? Anthony Davis started playing better. Then LeBron James came back off an injury, and he's back to being LeBron James. And then you see Austin Reeves, and then you see Lonnie Walker. All those guys are starting to play with that passion, and it started with Russell Westbrook setting the tone.
Are other media types being too prideful to give Russ his just due after last year's smear campaign? Maybe. But one thing's for certain. The reports of Russ's demise were greatly exaggerated. Even his worst season was better than 80% of the league's starting point guards. And he appears to be the clear-cut favorite for 6th man of the year so far. Westbrook being willing to not only accept a bench role, but thrive in it as a former league MVP, 2-time All-Star Game MVP, 2-time scoring champion, and all-time triple-double leader, should prove that he's about putting the team over himself. So, were you amongst those miseducated about Russ? Let me know in the comments. We out.
From beyond the arc.
Russ! Throw it down! Throw it down, Russ! Down the middle he goes!
Then he gets a technical for taunting. I mean, he looked back at Rudy Gobert, the paint, and then exploding. Did he ever explode over the top of Gobert? Oh, wow, that's just...